Welcome to We Speak Tangent podcast, where we talk to neurodivergent entrepreneurs.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of We Speak Tangent. I'm Kat.
I'm James.
And Michael is unfortunately not well, so we have brought Amelia out from behind the camera. Welcome, Amelia.
The camera is left.
The camera's on its own.
It's unattended.
We'll see if it's okay.
It may behave.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no one watching it.
Awesome sauce. And so this week we're going to be listening to some of your voice notes and responding to them.
Thank you very much for them as well. I have only heard one, so this will be interesting. I like hearing it first hand, because then you get the genuine autistic James face.
And it's
Apologies
also,
enough.
Do watch on YouTube for that.
Yeah. We'll do a little clip of all of them, round up at the end. But it's also good to point out as well, like if people do want to send more clips in, then it's always available on the website. You just go to the website and then you can, if you've got anything you want to say for everyone to talk about, then
It's right at the top of the website, and we love to.
Where can you find the website?
on the internet.
www.wespeaktangent.co.uk.
Is it on the NEN one as well?
There's a link to it on the NEN one, yes.
Okay.
Is it on Google? Google yet?
I don't know.
You can Google us.
Oh, well,
Please do Google us. Click through
then
to
it
us
will,
from Facebook, then Google will like us more.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. Yeah. Otherwise
you,
you'd have to be
Google.
paying for that to search up.
Thanks, Google.
Fantastic.
There are other websites and web mailers and etc.
No one
etc.
cares about the others.
But get yourself to We Speak
No.
Tangent. Also catch up
Exactly.
on the episodes that you've if you've just joined us.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
you've already left us a voice note, leave us another one. It's all
Yeah.
good. We love to
There's no
interact.
limit on it.
Put us under pressure.
And you can also leave them anonymously if you would prefer.
Yeah, or you don't have to, and then you can just send us a message, and we'll be fine with it.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
No, exactly. Yeah, you can always send subsequent messages
Yeah.
with further instructions. Fantastic. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah,
Yeah,
should we
yeah,
play
I'm
the first
ready.
one?
Brilliant.
Hi, I've been loving the podcasts, but I've got a question that I hope you can help me out with. My daughter's autistic and she's been struggling to find a suitable job since she's left school. What's the best way that I can help, that I can encourage her and support her to consider setting up her own business?
So, there's lots of ways.
I think
And
as a young future entrepreneur just leaving school, it would be a great idea to find someone that has that I'm going to sound like that film, has a particular set of skills. That has, it's like I've found that like mentorship. I mentor a few kids,
100%.
and the mentorship needs to be along the lines of what they're looking for, but it's all right that they don't know what they're looking for either. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
That's really important.
I think as a neurodivergent, again, I've only got a younger version of me. Is like, I scrambled about and I had jobs and I did jobs and I didn't like them, and it was like just taking wee bits. But for your daughter, I think that if she finds someone that's that far along in the journey, then she can get. I'm always about the people who are in front of us and the people who are behind us. But if she finds someone that has that skill and has learned all the bits, then she need never make as many of the mistakes. I don't want to say all of them, because you
But I
have to
think
make
that's
mistakes.
like-
Yeah,
it's
mistakes
half
are
of it,
where the
isn't it?
learning is.
Yeah, because if you don't make mistakes, what you're just going to constantly, like, it's just you make mistakes, you learn from it.
Yeah.
If you don't
Yeah.
make mistakes, you don't necessarily learn anything. I think it's also an important point, life skill / learnings, to say that if you're really passionate about something and you want to get a mentor and you want to go into that field, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to then be like 6 months down the line, actually, I don't think this works for me. Let's just switch it out and let's go be a farmer, or let's go,
Because there's times as well when it's something that you love, but maybe it's in an office and you realise you have to be like more on location and have more time outside or more time travelling or be working from home more. Or, you know, there's so many variables that can be optimised to make it.
But then if you
more
are working for
accessible.
yourself, I think that's then a good point because you can make it work for you. You can have all the reasonable adjustments if you are self-employed.
Yeah.
You can navigate it differently.
Yeah, there's a lot more freedom and a lot more opportunity, but there's also more responsibility. So which is where the mentoring comes in, because it's having somebody there who can model,
and support
what you're trying to do
and guide you as well.
Yeah, and I also think it's like the young neurodivergent mind. I'm smiling because we all want to take the shortcut because that's a dopamine hit, and that's all right. I don't hear enough of people saying like that is okay, because that's how we develop. That's how we grow. Things move at a different pace for each individual neurodivergent. But when you're coming in and you're doing it for your own business and you want to do it, I think it's all right to do that. It's no school. If you're going to pick somebody and they're probably have made, is it shortcuts or is it like a hack? Because as a neurodivergent, I work at an exponential speed. So I see people trying to work at the same speed, and I'm like, no, calm yourself down here. I work like this because I've made all the wee mistakes. So I guess it is back to that mistake thing that you have to go along and you have to try it.
And also, how you work, because sometimes I used to spend a lot of time saying, no, I've decided I'm going to be working for an hour, and I would sit for an hour and look at a computer and do nothing.
Yeah.
And then, whereas if I just go for a walk and come back, and then I can do the same amount that I was trying to do in 5 minutes. And if I know when to kind of take breaks and split it up.
And also, don't give up on the first day. I was past tense. I give up on the first day, and then maybe 3 years later I do something similar. I'm like, I quite like this, but it's like, because we are quite introverts,
We're very good at putting pressure on ourselves.
That masking thing, stick in and get maybe 2 or 3 days, and then
because it doesn't have to be perfect straight away, and
it doesn't.
Probably never will be perfect.
No,
but it's your perfect, isn't it? You make it be what you define as perfect. And also as well, like if you are setting up a business and if you are wanting to go it alone, like I think it's important to enjoy the journey of it. Like what you're saying, if you're constantly saying like, right, okay, well I want to reach this goal, and you're so focused on that goal as opposed to the journey that takes you on the goal. It's all about the
baby steps.
You're you're going to be constantly trying to gain something, whereas actually if you look at life, it's the everyday living, isn't
and
it?
And you have to celebrate each small win.
Yeah.
And then that becomes a practice. Like for me, that's a practice to be like, each small thing that is a win, like I will celebrate that and make a point of
ask
thinking
loads of
about
questions.
Yeah.
The questions are so important. Like I always tell my students, there is no such thing as a silly question.
Yeah,
and I've probably asked it, so anything you're asking I've already thought of, and it's like I guess just
that's where all the fun tangents are.
I guess just for your daughter is to try it, innit? Because there's progress, not perfection. The fact is that she wants to do something is the progress.
Yeah.
It should never be about the perfection.
And a lot of it is confidence, so I'm looking at so we're supported by South Scotland Enterprise, and they have pathway coaches who are available to help people who are starting their businesses and starting this kind of entrepreneurship journey. And people can also access, supportive coaching if it is more of a confidence issue.
Yeah, and you'll find all that stuff in the show notes as well.
100%.
Yeah, I'll put them in.
And do reach out to them. These things are there for a reason. I think that scare factor of, I guess, being young, I don't know what age your daughter is, but the scare factor is the growth. It doesn't sound like it at the time, but I've been there, and Kat's been there, Amelia's been there. It's like, we've been there. That growth is so important. I'm all about that growth, and I still get scared. I was driving in this morning and it's the first frosty day.
Yeah.
Took me a bit longer, but I was scared.
It's change, isn't it? So again, any change is difficult, and especially when you're neurodivergent, just that kind of and the unknown of it is harder than going into a job which has clear
and it isn't. I keep saying this. Growth doesn't look like this.
No, it doesn't.
Like a wee plant, it actually looks like that sometimes. And we get too heightened by going all of a sudden. I mean, my company's 4.5 years old. We're at that stage, and I'm all right now.
Yeah.
It's like
businesses and people, there's a lot goes on internally before anything is seen externally.
Exactly. Growth comes in all different ways. I'm a big growth guru. I like the growth. I pity my plants on feeling that same way.
They probably need a new pot, James.
Some water.
I don't. I think I've overwatered it. I need to go on a course of keeping my wee plants alive.
I think it's a good point though, because they're like, obviously with us building the network, there is support out there if you are looking to build something yourself. But then there's also other support outside of us. Crazy,
Yeah.
I know, but like on YouTube and Instagram, TikTok, there's so many resources where there are millions of people sharing their stories each and every day that
Yeah, the
you don't have
community
to-
is out there.
yeah, you don't have to just follow one person. You can chop and change and get information from everyone and then build your own world according to what you want to get into business doing and what you fancy or are passionate about.
Yeah, it's about finding those connections that light you up and help you to feel, passionate and capable and worthwhile.
Aye, it's a bit trying it, isn't it? It's like putting yourself in, but
Yeah.
also this is something important in business that, especially more for neurodivergents and self-employed people, when you get a business, don't think that this is something new. Don't be over personal with it. Yes, it'll be unique. Don't overthink the fact is that this is nobody's done this before, because what you'll find is somebody's done it before,
someone's
and
using the
you're
model.
about to be humbled. I've been humbled many times, but if I had heard that 4 years ago, honestly, I would have known what was coming. I've been humbled so many times, but the fact is that somebody's done it. So I was going to say, take what they do and then make it yours.
Inspiration.
Aye, liberate
Yeah.
it.
There's a really good book by Austin Kleon, and he is an artist in America, and he says the book's still your artwork. He's got like 3 books. They're all about 200 pages long. They're really good. But he does talk about nothing is original.
Yeah.
And even the greats in terms of art, like, steal from each other. But because you are your own individual person with your own experiences, whatever twist you put on that drawing of an apple will be your drawing of an apple, even if you are inspired by Michelangelo or, Andy Warhol, whatever.
Donatello.
Yeah, like it doesn't, whatever twist, everyone has already stolen from each other, and it's kind of the practice of it makes perfect.
Yeah,
kind of thing,
that's the thing about connections, though, like, because all humans are constantly learning from each other.
Yeah.
We're no different, and that you will find things in other people's work and other people's words that inspire you, but you will always interpret them in your own unique way.
And I always use the art analogy. These guys like you just mentioned there, Michelangelo, Donatello, and it's not the turtles. But these artists, like they didn't have what we have. They didn't have the paints. They didn't have.
Yeah.
So how did they learn? They learned from each other.
Yeah.
That's how they became the greats.
The
It's
knowledge
like
is shared.
that's how it is. So I guess to your
They
daughter
formed
as
a
well,
network.
you have to find your own tribe. And when you're
100%.
building up, it's that's why this what we do is so important. That you can ask questions. You can ask I'm not scared of asking anybody a question now, in order for me to get to another part of my business, because business is business, and business ain't a new concept. But neurodivergent entrepreneurs, we have to ask that extra question, that
we
extra
always
wee
need
bit
a
of
little bit
miles.
more clarification.
Aye.
Yeah,
Like-
which
But
is okay.
that's-
Take it slow.
Yeah, and that's why we're also passionate about the network and the connecting with each other. Like in whether it's in the Facebook group or on the page or on Instagram
Yeah,
or through
TikTok,
voice notes or anywhere. It's just about making connections with people in your community.
And that's a fantastic dad as well. Well done for sending that wee.
Yeah, I was going to say
voice
that as
note
well.
in, aye.
That's
It's a great
they're already a
support
step
staff.
That's a
ahead
support
because
network
they've got
that a
parental
lot of people
support
don't
there.
have. So
Yeah.
well done.
yeah. But it's exciting starting a journey.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
good
as
luck.
a young
Whoever
entrepreneur
that
is if you can learn from any of what we've done, that'll give you that good steading forward. Give you that extra wee catapult. Forward.
I prefer catalyst, but
I
yeah.
do like that one. Aye. So good luck in your
I help
adventure.
people to react into their unique
Always
brilliance.
the chemist.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I remain unchanged and yet completely moved by people's journey.
That's a really good tagline. That sounds like you practiced that.
Yeah, I think I've thought about it a lot.
Like a little book tagline
Some
or
sweat lodge up
something.
in the Highlands somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's good. It's good to start. I think that's part of we've all talked about it before as well on different podcasts. The journey that everyone has when you are figuring it all out and finding your feet, and especially if you are, and you know that you're neurodivergent, or even if you don't know you're neurodivergent, but you know that you don't necessarily fit in, it's okay to go through jobs and think, actually, I have had a lot of jobs, but this hasn't worked, and I don't really enjoy working in an office, or actually, I don't like the environment of that, or I don't. We've all been there, we've all done it.
And it's okay to make that decision and say, this really is, I am really struggling with this.
Yeah.
And just, that is not a failing, it's just a sign to move.
Well, it's learning.
Slightly
It's just
laterally.
it's gone that way
it's
again.
learning.
You don't have to. if you're in a job that you don't feel that suits you, just leave.
Yeah.
I'll make
We're
that
so
bold.
lucky
I'll
we
make that
can do
bold
that.
statement. It's like,
Yeah.
don't feel the pressures that society has put on you by making you stay in there. As a neurodivergent, I don't fit into the 9 to 5 box. You
And
know,
there are many different neurodivergences
Yeah.
and intersectional neurodivergences. You know, I have many, you have many, you know, everyone has different things that are going into your kind of unique personality, and
Yeah.
only you know yourself best and you know what you need.
set yourself free. You are liberated. We are giving you the power.
No, we'll do that subliminally, James. We'll add that to the track later.
For the guys that are listening and are watching the video, I'll just transferring the cube of power over.
Yeah, the Nido cube.
The needle of
We
power.
probably should email them. We're
But-
playing with these.
Also, stay connected to the gent that actually sent the voice note. Stay connected, because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you've not heard your daughter's story yet, I'm sure somebody's story, because what I've found
Yeah,
is
one day
we're
one of our
group of
successors will be
collectives,
interviewing them.
a group of collective neurodivergence. Somebody will have the
We
similarities.
need to work out a collective now.
Aye.
Yeah, but I think it should be something fun.
Oh, definitely something
Like-
yeah.
Yeah.
We're in your houses. We're in your
Is
building.
that a noun?
Was that a noun?
make
Did you
it
say
all in a
Did you
noun?
say a noun?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I
what
thought you
is
said a
noun?
word.
A describing
Like as
word.
in a murder of crows.
Yeah.
Ah, we're in your houses. We're in your...
Well, you don't want to be a murder of neurodivergence.
No.
It's got to be something. Actually, I'll put
Yeah.
it on the
Do you know
poll.
that's a
on
good-
Yeah, we could do a poll. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's do a
That's
poll.
a good thing, though. You know, like this is the time, like for your daughter. This is the time. Neurodivergence. I know I'm joshing there and saying we're in your house. We've always been there, but now is
Yeah.
the time. I'm seeing more and more neurodivergence. I'm getting stopped in the street.
Yeah, the community
What is it you
is
do?
forming.
Aye, it's
Yeah.
like we are growing and we are multiplying. We've always been here though, but this is the time to ask these questions. So again, please do send these in. These
Yeah.
are important
And we,
in our growth.
and we would exactly, and we would love, you know, everybody of all ages pop in, join
Yeah.
the Facebook group, join the community, because the more people who are around who can share and are of similar ages and similar experiences, the more we'll all benefit.
Yeah.
And I'm also
we
up
can
for a cup of
feedback as
coffee. Well, I drink tea. I don't know why I keep saying coffee, but
But yeah,
I'm
if you're
up
in
for
the
a
south
tea
of
or a chat.
Scotland,
Aye.
in person meetups.
Drop a
coming
message,
soon.
aye.
Yeah, because we
come.
do go for walks on the
Yeah.
beaches, and we would like to share that
Yeah.
with everyone if they
Everyone
fancy a
is
little
welcome.
Yeah.
little wander and maybe a little paddle.
A wee I call it a wee 5-minute holiday. If you're just going to take 5 minutes out of the day, 5 minutes is sometimes all my mind will let me. A wee 5-minute
Yeah.
holiday. So,
Yeah.
aye, it's good.
Yeah, it's good to build that connection, and hopefully one day we can have, if like this guy's voice note, if your daughter is looking for you know some work to do X, Y, or Z, then we would have the network to support that and be like,
Yeah.
oh, actually, well they do
Yeah,
that.
we
If you
can
want to do
all
that, we
support
can
each
link
other
you up
and-
or
Yeah, exactly.
Aye, that'd be great.
build a network and build a community
Yeah, the
of.
more people who engage with the network, the better it is for
Yeah.
A wee
everybody.
bit of work experience or something.
Yeah, exactly. It all blossoms. It all starts.
Spend a day with the nan.
Yeah.
That could be it, aye. Please bring chocolates.
Is that the new
and,
international holiday, is it, James?
Yeah, yeah.
please
Yeah, we'll
speak to
pitch that.
Mr. Charles.
Neurodivergence of the world unite in the south of
Aye,
Scotland.
that's a shout. Neurodivergence of the world. Assemble. And this is we would like it to be a random Wednesday as a
Hey,
bank
maybe I
holiday.
run a retreat.
Yeah.
Maybe let's do a neurodivergent retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just realised why I've got these wee blisters in my fingers because it's the.
Because
That
you don't
can't be
always
from
have a
doing
needle.
the-
It
do
is,
you?
aye, because I'm aye.
You
Anyway,
can't-
that's my tangent there. That was like, why have I got these wee
Don't
things?
murder my needle. You can murder your own.
That's why.
They are quite good. But then that's also it, isn't it? It's reasonable adjustments. And if you are building
Exactly.
your own
Yeah.
business or starting from scratch, then having things that you can stim with, or like I'm always, you don't see it 'cause I'm off camera, but I'm always only in my socks because
Yeah.
shoes are just cages for your feet. I don't know how you guys are doing it.
These are the comfy
Although
shoes
James
I've
is
ever
always
bought. man.
matching his
100%.
outfit.
Yeah, James
always
has a
got-
Actually, they are
selection
quite
of many
comfy
shoes.
trainers.
What a hat?
And
'cause
your
I haven't
hat.
shaved my hair either.
It's too hot for a hat.
know.
Yeah, inside. Too
Yeah,
hot, too
I did
hot.
Cold outside, but aye.
Yeah, it's
Tangents.
warm
Turn it
Yeah.
away.
Aye.
in here. Yeah. Should we?
Fantastic. Okay, so that was part 1. So join us for part 2 for the next voice note.
Please do come back. So, welcome back to part 2. where Kat's just about to play another one of our
Voice messages.
amazing voice messages. It's
Thank you so much for sending
I've
them.
never heard of this before, like
Have you
voice
not?
messages. I don't know if I'm like a wee prehistoric dinosaur.
Shout,
but-
shout out to Sarah and Laurie from Bold Beautiful Borderline for giving me the idea.
Aye, honestly, it's
It's a good way of getting in contact,
I think
though,
it's
isn't
great.
it?
Yeah, it's really
'cause
good.
I'm-
It's a really
I'm-
nice way of connecting, I think.
I'm an overwhelmer if I've told you this, WhatsApps or messages, but that's
Yeah.
a great addition to what I already do.
And also, you can, if you do record it, you can re-record it, which I think
you
is
can re-record
pretty.
it. You get to listen to it
Yeah.
before you send it.
So
Yeah.
how is it? Like obviously, some people might be listening and the viewers and asking, how do you do it? Is this?
It's a plugin called SpeakPipe, which you can get for WordPress.
Yeah. So you just need to okay them having access to your microphone.
Yeah.
Before, but it will pop up. And
Yeah.
you press OK, and you say, "Hello, how are you?" And then you send, and then that's it.
Is
Or if you're like me, you try it 3 times.
How long
and
do you get?
You 2 minutes, I think.
That's
But
all right.
you can always send us more than one
Multiple.
messages.
Yeah.
Because I get them into an inbox. So
Every day's a school day, you know, I'm always interested in new stuff. A new thing for me is a neurodivergent. I actually want to learn new stuff.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So thanks very
Sounds
much for
good
that.
to learn.
Sorry, I went a wee tangent there.
No,
Just
it's
No,
interested.
not at all.
Good to know.
Good to know.
Good to share the knowledge. Should we play the
Okay,
next one?
Let's go.
Hi, you guys. I'm really enjoying the podcasts, and I'm finding specifically as an older person the use of technology and how you're using it to sort of mitigate or help or do what you need to do. I would be interested in that, although technology scares me quite a bit. And that would get me onto the virtual office. And I've tried that, and it's pretty cool. I work as a freelance journalist, and translator, so my job is pretty isolating. And way back when, I would have liked to have had a virtual office when I was working in a big city. But yeah, at any rate, those are the things. But I'm just finding the whole thing fascinating. Thanks a whole lot for setting it up.
Technology is scary.
Yeah. See, I love that when you're like, you link in with stuff without knowing.
Aye, it's like I was just about to say, if that was $1 million video, I was like, I didn't even know it was coming. I was like, that's like the synergy of the world.
Exactly. Synergy is fascinating.
Oh man, aye. And the virtual office is yours, Kat, so tell us a wee bit about that.
Yeah, so the virtual office is a body doubling space. So body doubling is the idea that it is easier to find motivation if you're doing something alongside somebody else. So I first came across body doubling maybe 3 or 4 years ago in the context of people just meeting up on Facebook and jumping on a Zoom call to fold washing together or stuff like that. So, but the virtual office is a space where you can work silently in the office space, and that's just all of us sat doing usually some admin. Or there's also a breakout room social space so people can kind of meet up and ask questions and feedback about their week, and hopefully that will start becoming a community.
I think it's like, for me, just listening to that there, it's like the isolation is, you know, I publicly tell people this, you know, I'm lonely, but I'm not alone. But to hear that, it means that, you know, I told you, I often just sit on a Friday, I work 7 days a week and just painting and doing my wee bits, but, you know, to have a wee space where there's like-minded people just to drop in it's great, because it's then a world that is theirs as such, as instead of just jumping in and going, you know, what's going to happen. Like, you know, I'm a big advocate of, a lot of people in my past life have walked me into a dark room and then turned the light on. That's not how it is, you know, and that's why I always ask for explanations and ask for things, because it should be, the light should be turned on. I'm using that metaphor, but it should be before you go there. Aye. And plus, I don't really like the dark that much, so, you know.
I know, I do love the dark, but I mean, like I've found body doubling and that kind of space really helpful, and using the virtual office as a space to you know, have time to do things that, you know, otherwise you're trying to dot in between other things, and sometimes it's nice to give that space.
It's interesting as well how, like, I don't know what the psychology of it is, but even we were on it on Friday, weren't we?
Yeah.
And just so productive in the hour.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny how, like, you can, like we were saying earlier, you can set a timer for an hour and you can be like, yeah, okay, right, well, I need to do this, I need to do that. But you probably would just dart around it and not necessarily get anything done.
Yeah.
Whereas when we were together doing it, it's like, cool, actually, we've done, like, I've seen
Done all the
emails, we've done
things,
this, we've done that. Like, it's weird, isn't it? Why does
Yeah,
that work all the time?
it's fascinating. And I mean, you know, shout out to ADHD Love and their Dubby app. You know, like I am already a great believer in body doubling. And, you know, I popped on the, I think it's called nighttime routine one. And I was like, oh, I'm going to drink my hot chocolate and I'll do that. I'll just listen to this. And then I was brushing my teeth and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. Yeah.
It is amazing how there are loads of people. I mean, obviously, there people can design apps and stuff. So there are lots of bits of technology.
And lots of people are doing body doubling spaces now, so you can jump into...
Things don't work for you, that something else will work for you. Like you said, like the Body Dubby app, isn't it?
The Dubby app, yeah.
There's also Goblin Tools, which breaks down tasks that are overwhelming. Or like,
yeah,
you know,
that's
when you
based
just
on the
don't know
timer system, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It basically, you can put how to like tidy up your bedroom, and it will just break it down of do this, do that, do that. You're like, oh, okay, cool, I'll start there. You know, and it's just there's something
cool.
that's just where do I start? And it's just too much, and you get in the
Because we
paralysis.
think to the end, we're always at the end. Going,
100%.
Or it just feels like it's going to take forever, and you're like, I don't have forever. Like, but actually, once you don't do it, it's like, oh, actually, it's 10 minutes.
It's like brushing your teeth. Like mine says 3 minutes, and I'm like, I'll be the judge of that. I'll be the judge of that. Aye, 3 minutes is
That's what you meant to do now.
It vibrates through each 3 minutes. Aye, and I'm like, I'll be the judge of that. 2 minutes 44 or 2 minutes 30. I was like, I'll be the judge of that. I've got a tooth missing. I'm taking 10 seconds off of that.
But I think that's the thing as well, you know, because it's you know, when you find things and you look at something and it feels overwhelming, and sometimes it's because we can see all the steps all at once. So like with the executive functioning side of it, you know, like I will see them all as equally important and equally like desperately needing done now, and then I'll just like be like, no, I can't do it. Can't do all of that now. And then end up doing nothing. Whereas if it's broken down, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And plus the fact is we are a mimicking species. We are
we're
like
meant
parrots.
to be in
We are meant
community
to
with
be.
each other.
Me and my friend always have a talk, and it's like this time of year, you're like he knows I like my space by myself. I've always kind of been like that. I kind of loner, but with people. And he always laughs and goes, you know, millions of years ago we'd all been cuddling in a big dark cave, and I was like, well, a million years ago, I'm sure you did that. But it's true. It's like that as a species, as humans. That's what we do. We like, and that's a great technology's moving. The girl who sent that in there, that's a valid thing. Technology's moving fast, as fast as the neurodivergence can move, and that's a great combination. You know, that's like a meeting in the middle, right? Let's see. But you know, if people don't try it and don't come along to it,
you never
then
know what'll work for you.
Honestly, if you're listening or watching, you don't know what you're missing. Please get involved with something like this and find out, and then send us a voicemail.
Pop into the virtual office, and we're still kind of setting up our space and, you know, open to polls and suggestions, and we really just want to serve, you know, the community. That
see, if you don't like it, I'll eat my own hat. It's one
it's
of the
very woolly one today. Yeah,
it's
good luck
It's going
with
to
that.
scratch and go down.
I'll maybe not eat it all, mind you.
Oh, yeah, the badge as well. The pin.
But it's one of the things, you know, if you believe in it, it's like obviously we believe in the We Speak tangent, you know, and the NEN and all the other bits. You just have to have that wee bit of belief and, you know, put your trust in what we are saying. It does work. It doesn't work for everybody, but 99% of the time it will if you give it a chance. It's like, I think you say it all the time, Amelia, what you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you can dot into the virtual office, straight into you get to choose which room you go into. You can go straight into the silent space, or you can pop in and chat with people. Yeah. And there's no pressure either way. You can have your microphone off and just be working
And also
away.
as well, we probably should point out that we are in the business centre in Hoyk, which actually, if you don't want to be virtual, upstairs is a hot desk in suite.
There is a hot desk
book
in
that,
suite,
and if you are, obviously this only works if you're local to the borders, but there must be
link
places.
in, join the
everywhere else.
Facebook group, link in with each other.
I'd be
You
up
can
for
always
that
say,
if people are want to come like
or
in person. I'll
Yeah,
come.
yeah,
we'll come.
Everyone bring the laptop.
Yeah, we'll come meet up with folk.
It's nice and warm in here. We haven't figured out the aircon.
It's very
Very
cozy in here. But yeah, anyone that wants to pop along and do a real time.
In real life.
In person body doubling.
And that's anti-technology, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but
we've
we
kind
like
of gone
that,
off the voice note. This is the flip side. Yeah, technology's great, but you could also do it in person.
We could,
Yeah.
But,
But it's just
that'd be
there's
amazing.
options, isn't
And
there?
there are many options.
And if there's loads, and also this is what you were saying, RE the group and the Facebook group, and our Facebook pages and LinkedIn and Instagram, all the social medias that we're on, we are open to change. We're open to moving and being malleable. And if people want support one way and we want support, we can figure it all out.
Yeah, it's about the tribe building their space.
Yeah, exactly.
And what works for one person, it certainly doesn't work for another.
We don't have to be in a cave in the dark.
No. When
We
you
have a
mentioned
dark corner and a light corner.
when Amelia mentioned change there, I'm like,
Dun, dun, dun.
change. It's like my
It's the inconsistency in life is change.
we are being very
yeah.
intentionally flexible.
Yeah.
Change is
Yeah,
hard.
Because it is hard.
And like
we find it hard too.
the lady that sent in isolation, that's what it is. It's like you don't have to feel isolated. I keep saying it with these things that are there now. It's like it is a hard thing, It's like if somebody's just coming about and just going, I'm neurodivergent, get in about with your tribe.
100%. Because we're all unique, we're all different. But even between us and between everyone that we've interviewed so far, everyone comes in, sits in the room, and it's like this is amazing just being in a room with people that think the way that you think, and that also are happy to converse in tangents. And
and also it's nice because it's like you just inspire each other. Like when we was doing Dawn's episode, Dawn saw I wasn't wearing shoes. She's like, oh great, I'm gonna take my shoes off.
Yeah,
and it's like it's having that space that I don't know. You just cool. Right, well that's exciting.
We're
it's
all
fine.
on the Nido now.
Yeah, we're all. This is all your fault, Kat. I even bought
this is modelling.
Mad Eye Marv
Yeah.
in little fidget
we can
toys.
have him for part 3.
Yeah, I'll bring him back in. Yeah,
I just often think it's like...
But it's amazing what a difference it does make when you give yourself permission to accommodate what you need.
Yeah. I just often think that, I've openly told people that I was out in the wild, and I always thought that people thought like me. But to find out, yes, there is people who think like me, but as a neurodivergent, and to hear the things, and I'm like... I get the wee moments, and I call them wee TNTs, tiny noticeable things, and I'm like, oh my God, and it's like... These things just keep exploding in my head thinking, wow, you really have been out there doing this by yourself. But it doesn't need to be like that going forward. Like what I've learned in the last, many podcasts we're on? 7, 8?
7. I don't know. I should know.
Well, 7 or 8 is it will take me forward into something absolutely brand new. And it is, as you say, we learn together. It's interesting that did I say this? I'm just going to say it's in my head. As a wee individual species of neurodivergence, we are different, and that's all right. I keep saying it, and I get excited about it because I'm part of this part of the world that has always been there, but we've always been different, and now it's our time.
And I think that's part of the beauty of it. It's
show,
like because we are all different from each other, and like we were saying, there are many intersectional identities, but also just that kind of awareness and openness to difference and to accommodating each other and learning about each other is maybe what the difference is. It's cultural as well.
I just think that it's, I always go back and I have a look at what wee Jim was doing, wee James, and I always look back and I think I was always just lonely sitting there, even in plain sight. So when we're speaking to people and hearing the isolation and stuff is like, technology is here.
Yeah, I feel that.
Use
I
it.
feel that hard.
Use it as and when you need. I
don't want anyone else to feel isolated.
And there's amazing, like even if you're not connecting with us, there's amazing little sections of social media that are that are really supportive and are neurodivergent or like are sharing knowledge all the time and which you can kind of
and I think that's the beauty of the number of different ways people are communicating. Because there's quite a lot of people that are just sharing their stories that I'm now really close with, just because we're both sharing our stories and we've realised that we can learn from each other.
There also is another beauty of this is come on the show and share your stories with us.
Yeah, if you would like to join us here,
we're still looking for other people.
Love to have you.
And it'd be great to hear somebody who has found something we've said, because we're getting a lot of people reaching out and messaging us and saying these things.
Yeah.
Come on the show and tell us, it'd be great. If you're not that comfortable, leave us a voice note.
Yeah, leave us a voice note. Again, you can do it anonymously or, we can do a spotlight on your business, little written interview. And there are many different ways to connect in and join the community and help people to know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I guess it's like, I'm like a broken record now because that's just part of me. But if there is anybody listening and thinks it's not possible, it is possible. I'm going to tell you, as long as you come on board now and you listen to what we've done and said, then you'll get what we've got. And the people who have yet to come in the door behind us, like I say, we're leaving the footsteps in the snow so that other people can see the way. We're leading the way forward so that others can say, that's a bold statement, but I'll stand by it.
Because we've been there with and felt alone, and I know that I have a lot of passion that comes from that and not wanting other people to feel alone, and I have an opportunity to put my head above the parapet and say, look, this is possible. You can do things, even with struggle, and even if you're neurodivergent or whatever else you've got going on, like there is a way. It might just not be the way that most people would assume it should be.
And this is a great thing. I get excited. I'm a neurodivergent. I joined somewhere that is a great experience. It's not all doom and gloom. But even when it is that part, I know the fact is I can lift the phone or I can speak to somebody and I'm like, I'm not having a great day. There's no judgment. It just 100%. Is. Or if I fly off the handle, because ADHD, James, is sometimes quite sharp. But that's the whole point.
It's that understanding as well of being like, oh, actually, so in here when we're not recording, we have all the lights off.
Yeah, we
because
do.
It's like if we don't, we won't be able to function for as long as if we turn the lights off and have all of the squeegees and everything
there's
that we need.
So many and I think that is part of it of learning online. There's so many adjustments that you can make, especially when you are self-employed and you are building up your own business. Like there's so many things that we just are now doing, which make it easier.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you say, if somebody rings you up and they say, I don't know, the lights are too loud in the office that I have to be in and I cannot stand it anymore. And it's like, that makes total sense.
100%.
What can you change that will, bring your activation down so that you can deal with the lights?
And it's
rather than saying, oh, don't be silly, it's just the lights.
Yeah.
And, it's like, it enhances your business.
100%.
You have already enhanced my business. It's like,
Thanks.
It increases your productivity.
The fact is to be with people that are like you is great. Even some of the negative stuff that we have to talk about, that's where it's at. It's
and there's community in that as well.
Yeah.
Because if you feel shameful about what you're struggling with, whatever that is, and why whatever has led to you feeling shameful about it, the chances are someone will understand.
Absolutely. There's I keep saying it, the mistakes are there to be made in order for the growth. Have we answered the person's question?
What is the virtual office and technology?
I was
you're saying like we have done a what do we call it? Reasonable adjustments episode where we talked a little bit about technology.
Yeah,
that probably will come out before this.
That probably will come out.
But our e-technology, there's so many ways. Like I always, we talk about this a lot off of camera, but there's a lot of ways that you can organise yourself now with technology. Like there's so many places that you can. Like I have Notion, which I find super helpful because it's like you can just create it how you want to create it, and you can dump your brain on it, and
it's an infrastructure that works.
Yeah, and you can kind of create pages within pages, so it's like a massive encyclopedia, but it is quite techy. So, but then you even. But
if that's how your brain works, then
it works really well.
Yeah,
and you can add images and different colours. But you can also organise yourself with the simple things of like Google to-do lists and setting reminders, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have so many alarms. If I didn't have I have an alarm the day before the thing happens, so that my brain can get over the idea that it's happening.
Then prep yourself
and then,
for it.
Yeah.
Do you ever get a fright when the alarm goes up and you're like, what's that?
All the time, every time.
That was me yesterday when you said, what are we doing tomorrow? And I was like, what are we doing tomorrow?
It's like, I haven't thought about that yet.
But see, that's the thing as well. See if there's anybody listening that has another fantastic thing to add to this.
Yeah,
I want to hear it. We want to hear it.
Definitely do.
Or even better, come on the show and tell us about it. I'll keep plugging this, but I'm excited to know that the future is going to be amazing and that people are out there like us, like, I can't explain it. It's a feeling of belonging, a feeling of wellness, a feeling of spiritualness, a feeling of Jamesness, whatever you can think. It's just it's like get involved and get on board, man. That's the whole point of this.
Because it is sharing the knowledge, and it is, we all come from different backgrounds. We've all had different careers before becoming self-employed and stuff. I don't know what I did. Like I'm thinking for myself, careers for you guys. that it's just sharing the knowledge in a space that you can come together and build things. I've squished it too much. Sorry if people listening on Spotify, my Nido is too squished. James just moving it for me. Yeah, it's, I've forgotten what I was saying.
Different careers.
Yeah, different. Yeah, and it's just sharing the knowledge but coming together and sharing the knowledge. Yeah.
It's just a great feeling, you know. That was that was Amelia for the people who are not watching on camera. That's Amelia falling off her seat.
Nido down.
Maybe a bigger thud than that. Squished it too much. It's gone like proper squidgy. I've got to leave it be for a bit.
That's because it's warm.
Put it in the fridge.
So is that a good part to leave?
Yeah. Shall
I
we
think so.
stop there for part 2?
So join us for part 3.
Excellent.
We're going to get a cup of tea
And
and
we're going to get
Fantastic.
we're going to pick Amelia up and so join us for part 3.
Bye. Hello everyone, welcome back to part 3 of We Speak Tangent Voice Notes edition, where we are here responding to your voice notes.
We are indeed. Should we play the next one?
Should we play the next one?
Just wanted to say hello from the Cook Islands and thank you so much for this podcast. We're loving it all the way from down here in the South Pacific. Thank you for putting it out there. I had a question. Maybe would you be able to share a little bit more about the peer support sessions? I'd love to hear more about what that's going to look like and how that's going to happen. Thanks. This is from Sherrod here in the Cook Islands. Bye.
That's some accent.
It's so far
It's
away.
a very good accent.
So far away, different for the
You
south
can't
of
get
Scotland.
much further away. Literally, it's like pretty much.
Where did you
opposite.
have, like, until she mentioned Cook Island, I was like in a wee place where it was all nice and warm and aye.
It is nice and warm.
I was
there.
going to say it's
Yeah,
nice and
not
warm
the
in here,
minus
but
two that's in Hoyk.
outside it's freezing.
No, it's the sea is warm there. It's very strange.
I'm sure everything's warm there, not just the
Probably,
sea.
Yeah, but
Hot potatoes.
I don't know if they
So-
have potatoes.
Yeah,
They have coconuts though.
surely they've got tatties.
Everywhere else.
Everywhere's got tatties.
I don't know.
Well, potatoes are American, aren't they? South America.
That's
You
true.
say potatoes, that's a potatoes.
Right.
That's a weird
Peer
tangent.
sport. Potato support.
Potatoes. Right, stop it, I can't.
Emotional support for potatoes.
Yeah.
That's potatoes bravas.
Oh.
Sorry.
What was
Anyway,
in that cake?
We've had the sugar, we've had the
yeah,
tea.
yeah. The
This is it.
frangipane has occurred.
Yeah.
The coffee
been
round 2
frangipaned.
is hitting. Okay,
So,
awesome.
peer
So
support.
the peer support sessions are facilitated peer support, so it's a little bit more structured than the social space in the virtual office that we're talking about in part 2. But it's just a space to bring any questions or wins you want to share with the community. So hopefully we're all meeting up and we'll learn all about each other's businesses, and it can just be a space where you can be supported by people that understand you and get where you're coming from, and it's a space to kind of really make those connections and ask something as simple as which accountant do you use, or something as deep as I'm really struggling to increase price points because of confidence or self-worth and stuff like that.
Which
So.
I think is really important to realise, because I think we all have that
Oh
moment
yes.
of imposter syndrome and just like, oh. But it's when it's in a group and someone else is talking about it and you're like, okay, I'm not alone. It makes it so much easier, doesn't it? To then be like, cool, well, we can then do this together, or
I guess it's about a place where in the first and second parts of this that we were talking about, gives you that space that, okay, so the office space on a Friday is like a space to go and work alongside people, even if it's just a camera, whereas the Tuesday is about the business and getting the hard facts and getting it from another neurodivergent, I guess, isn't it? And I guess it's like what we were talking about, where you can go in and you can ask questions. I mean, I'm there and I'm still asking questions. It's
100%.
like you're never too far along the journey to find this.
And I think every time we've been in there've been discussions, and even if it's discussions around diagnosis and people's journeys, and you know, that also has a huge amount of value, just that supportive element of people who understand where you're coming from and where you've been, and just being able to share, you know, I had these struggles and, you know, couldn't find diagnosis, and other people saying, yeah, it was the same, it's not you.
And I guess is like you can go to as many schools as you want, you can go to university, you can do everything, but what you cannot get is the lived experience, and living in that moment is what you get. You know, it's like that's a hard thing for any human to try and understand, but when you actually nail it all down, it's quite relatively simple. It's a simple process that we make very, very hard because of how we're wired. But sitting listening in a room with people who are like-minded, it certainly turns the light on. And back to this light again. But it turns the light on, and wheels start moving in the brain, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
And do you know, I used to get very, very cringy, like you said there, about pricing. I'm like, how do you price that?
Yeah.
How do you do that? It's like, I used to cringe because it's
We've
like,
all been there.
it's like, to price something and give it, you're like, if anybody's listening and you're tuning into this point, this is what I'm going to tell you. You're worth it. You are worth it. I tried my hardest there not to swear. Like, it's like, you're absolutely worth the time you think you're worth.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think as well, like it's a learning curve of it. If someone doesn't feel like you are worth your time, then they're not the right person for you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like
Exactly.
I was listening to a podcast last night with Ryan Holiday and James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits, and Ryan Holiday does
He's awesome. I
the Daily
love
Stoic
him.
podcast, which is I would highly recommend. Nothing to do with neurodivergency, but just very interesting. But they were talking about how time is the only thing that we have that you can't get back. Like you put your money on, you know, this is an hour, it's going to take me X amount of money to be paid for this 60 minutes. But at the end of the day, you could put more work in, but you can't get the time back. And like that's the most valuable thing that we have, and we judge it on the monetary value. So if someone says, like, you know, doesn't want to pay whatever for your time, cool, move on. Like it's not. There's always going to be. There's a bigger audience out there. We're all connected nowadays. You can always find more audiences, but your time is always valuable.
Yeah, I think it brings it back to that one as well. I think we said a few podcasts back. Don't be scared to delete people at your life. You know, this whole thing of you being as neurodivergent and want to be an entrepreneur, that's part of life, but it's also part of business. Like myself, I've went through my contact list, and I'm like, you know, at this moment in time, we don't really need to be in contact with that person. Boom, bing, 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 bing. Delete or block, whatever way you want to do it. It's like, you know, if you see a lot of negative stuff coming through on your social media, because that's a big part of business now. Just block and delete and move
You
on.
can hide. You don't know. You can mute stories.
Yeah.
Which is hard. It's a hard thing for somebody to say, but you know, and do. But I've done it, and it works.
That's also life, isn't it?
You don't have to adhere to the rules that you think somebody else does.
Yeah.
It's like, listen to your inner monologue. It's
you
very
always,
really wrong.
You always know in your gut. But I think as well, it's
Dialogue.
interesting. Like, you know,
That's a monologue. Dialogue.
That's fine. Not some people do have monologue.
Aye.
Apparently,
Yeah.
I have dialogue.
Monologue, dialogue.
oh, hang on, what's
Many-
the
many
difference?
There's some
Is there-
difference, aye.
Yeah, many conversations. Oh,
Yeah.
it's not a
But
monologue.
like, so a monologue is where you hear like a narrator,
one
because a
voice.
lot of people have like an inner narrator.
Aye.
But then like a dialogue, so have like different conversations.
My
with
friend doesn't
different
have
parts and
anything.
stuff.
We
and
need
we're
to have a
like, what?
podcast
No,
about
I
that.
have a friend who has
understand
no. They just think.
Yeah. I was like, I don't, Rachel,
It's
how do you do, like,
fascinating,
how do you
but
picture
yeah.
things? What
Aye,
happens?
aye.
Like, oh,
Where does your world go?
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
how do you
baffling.
know that you're thinking? So
Aye.
you're
Yeah.
hearing it, but I'm very audio. So.
Who tells you to get out of your bed?
Yeah,
True.
Good
Who
job,
talks you out of
James.
things? Like, yeah.
Who talks you into things?
And also, are you not listening to songs constantly in your head?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know, that took me on a wee
the
tangent
earworm,
there.
yeah.
If anybody's as old as me out there, and I'm smiling because this is a genuine,
Is anyone as old as me
heartwarming
out there?
thing. It's like
Where is he going?
when somebody says the inner monologue, I'm like, Drop Dead Fred. Have you ever seen Drop Dead
Yeah,
Fred with
that's
Rick
I
Mail?
dropped Dead Fred the other day.
That's I want that. That's my inner monologue. Just do it.
To be
What
fair,
do you mean?
Rick Mail is just always my inner monologue.
That was
Put
my
right from
go.
the bottom.
One of my first earliest memories of a dopamine chase. It
Yeah.
was that, and I constantly watched it 3 times a day,
Yeah.
every day. You know, it was like constant.
See, I did that with Watch It Down.
Oh, wow.
I do it with
Watership Down.
Python and Holy Grail.
But yeah, so I also did it with Money.
So I only watched Watership Down because I knew it made my sister cry. So then I got my dopamine buzz
so
for that.
mean.
I know, but hey, I was young,
Second
man.
hand dopamine.
I'm sitting watching her like
Punishment.
quickly cry so I can. Aye, my sister was only 11 months between us.
the
and
vibe.
Aye, it was a vibe. Aye, growing up.
Yeah.
Let's put Watership Down on. No, in the video. By the way, I'm that old. Video VHS went in.
We had it recorded. We recorded it from the television.
Yeah, those are the days.
That video went missing. I wonder if
Our
Susie
VHS
took
of
it
it
away.
died because we kept rewinding it too much.
Again, even like dopamine chasing, that's another thing. Like, as a, obviously we are neurodivergent entrepreneurs, like that whole, and the idea of deleting people is so that you can move on and not have that negativity there, which holds you down, as well as the growth, remember, but then also replacing that with something else that isn't
Something that lights you up.
doom scrolling or whatever, you know, like everybody gets theirs different. For me, it can be this. I'm laughing. That's terrible. So my cat's name's Picasso, and I just see myself in my mind with my wee monologue chasing her around about the living room, like you know, for a cuddle.
Poor
And
big cat,
she's just a wee.
The thing about cats,
She's a selfish cat though. She just keeps running away.
but they don't want attention. They don't want attention.
They don't need you.
And that's my wee dopamine buzz, because you know I work a lot close. Me and Picasso, the adventure.
You see, I have dogs, so they just like
There you go.
Yeah, see,
constantly
dogs
attached
always
to me.
want attention.
Aye.
Cats has boundaries.
If
That's why
pets
it's
could
better.
talk, maybe that's a T-shirt. If pets could talk,
Yeah.
aye.
Talk,
If pets
indeed.
could talk, they would tell all your secrets.
Many things they would know.
What was
that-
I've forgotten what we're
Coaching.
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 Yeah.
Just
But-
it takes somebody by. Again, you can't just take somebody by the hand. You have to show them.
Yeah, and it's
Teach
about
a man to
that
fish kind of thing.
mentorship, exactly. And like you'll learn different things from each mentor. So
Yeah.
you know, if there are, you know, SOSI pathway coaches who can help through, you know, contacts and business setup and things like access to work and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, supportive coaching around, you know, more the questions around like self-confidence and price points. And then the peer coaching comes in and gives you that just a space where you don't have to explain how you feel, I think is the most important thing.
And I think as well, you know, this sounds overwhelming, because it is, but it doesn't all need to be done in the one day. You know, that's the whole point in this.
Yeah.
Slow the process down, take a bit of time, get to know what it is. Like the impulses will always be there for whatever kind of neurodivergence you've got. You know, some people need that wee bit slower. It's catered is the word I'm trying to find without going a big ADHD.
It's
right?
individualized, and
it's
you know,
catering for
each
everybody.
session is that kind of, you know, I get to get spiritual about it. It is that sacred space that is what is needed by the people that are there on that day.
Yeah.
And the connections that are made between the people that are present would have been different if there was someone else there. And it's just a space, you know, to dot into. And, you know, hopefully for some people that would be a space that becomes kind of, you know, indispensable in their week as a way to kind of keep you going and light you up and give you more motivation and stuff.
I think it's so like important, because when you are setting out and you are thinking, right, okay, I need to do X, Y, Z. We need to do social media. We need to do the accounts. We need to do like there's so many things in a business that it is overwhelming. But like I always am just like, oh, I've just got to do it all, and I'll find the time and I'll do it. But then it's like what we would say, like there is support and you can just ask for help, and it's not doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean that you failed or anything. It's just the business will run smoother.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
and
you're not then burning
support
out. Because
there.
also burnout for neurodivergence is
Good topic.
probably a massive topic. We could probably have a whole another podcast on.
Yeah,
to be fair.
because but autistic burnout and you know, ADHD burnout and just burnout in general is, you know, if you have any experience which, you know, deviates from the culture that you're living in, you know, be that country culture or just the people that you're around, then that is difficult, and that will put a strain on your energy resources. And if you just keep going, and are just always very slightly out of your capacity, which neurodivergents are very good at doing, then over time you become more and more out of your capacity, and then you start, you know, downskilling and not being able to do those things that make you feel competent, and then that brings a whole other layer of feeling.
But it's not even just
like
then
you're
the
failing
burnout.
again.
It's then I read somewhere it takes like 1 to 3 years to recover from
100%,
burnout.
yeah, it does.
And it's like I
Yeah,
think
it does.
I then look back on my life and where I suspect that I have been burnt out. And it's like, oh yeah, that's why it took so like, and it does click into place to then be like, oh okay. So it's about if you need to ask for help, and you do need support. We all need support. We're only human beings.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's not the end of the world. Like
Yeah,
we're here
and
for a reason.
any
People are here for a
time
reason.
that, you know, you feel the start of that burnout, you can take steps to kind of give yourself that little bit more rest that can stop it going to a full kind of crash.
The thing is as well, like it's all very well being a social chameleon. You know, you change yourself to suit your environment, but that has an effect on you.
100%. It's exhausting. Masking is exhausting.
And it's the whole idea of being a neurodivergent entrepreneur is that you can enhance what it is you do without having to mask all of the time, because I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen, but, you know, you can be comfortable in what you do and comfortable and confident as well. But it will happen because, like you were saying, like accounts and all the other stuff. For me, it's like days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into catastrophe.
That time blindness is amazing.
It is unreal, and you know it still happens to me. So I'm not going to tell you that that's going to go away.
No, it doesn't.
But having the right support, again, it seems as if that's all I've spoken about, but it's so important, and that support is new to me.
Yeah, and your support can come from yourself as well. Like, yes, it does absolutely come from other people, and so it should. But you know, your internal self-talk can support you greatly or not.
And I guess
that is worth looking at as well.
We should talk about the great stuff as well about being neurodivergent entrepreneurs. It's like
all of it's great.
Exactly.
It's like self-development. I find it's just interesting, isn't it?
It's just fascinating. Like, the more you learn to know yourself, the better everything flows.
But being able to pause is something that we don't talk about. Being able to just go, right, okay, let's stop here and go and have a wee 5-minute meditation or go away. But in order to get to that and learn it,
that's a skill, and you have to kind of allow yourself that time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's a Brucey bonus, you know, to be able, as being a neurodivergent entrepreneur,
Who's thinking who's Bruce?
Yeah.
And go, listen, I don't need to. I've said it loads of times in between meetings. I'm like, I need to go. It's like, what? But my people are used to that now because I've been working alongside. I'm like, I need to go, and that's it. And having that mutual, the word is respect. I'm trying to find.
100%.
You know, I absolutely love being a neurodivergent entrepreneur. It is all new to me. It's all new stuff. I've been saying I've been doing it for 4 and a bit years. But it's all, majority is all good because I'm learning the tools going along. And I say happy things, like taking that space for a minute. We've talked about self-care. Self-care as a neurodivergent entrepreneur, as well as everybody,
essential.
Is essential. That's the word. You know, I keep going in these big mad circles to get round to what I'm trying to say, but it is essential and it is important. As are you. Completely. Important. You know, your company can only go as long as what you can. Yeah. And like you were saying with the masking and allowing yourself.
Yeah, because like the weird thing about masking is like if it's intentional and you know, and you're like, I'm going into, you know, say an accounts meeting, and you know that you have to behave in a certain way and that a certain type of language is going to be used, and then but if you can plan for that and go ahead for that, and then have those times built in, so it's like 5 minutes before that I'm going to need time to do a visualization, or like afterwards I'm going to need half an hour to go for a walk, and then that allows you to keep going with your day. Whereas like you're saying about burnout, like if you don't do that and you go in and you have to mask and you haven't coped ahead and you're not ready, then that's more exhausting again.
You just end up sleeping.
And redoing something. I've said that twice. Redoing something is a hard one, you know, like repeating yourself or doing that thing. That's where I would be with having to take some self-care if I'm getting agitated with tiny wee things. I'm like, why repeat myself? Because I've already said that.
Yeah.
And it's all right to look back as well and go how far you are along the journey, I think, as well is important.
I think that's why it's really important to document it. And I think, like we were talking earlier about like having goals and stuff, but like I think it's finding the systems that work for you. And this probably goes for neurotypicals as well as neurodivergents. Like it is the best thing about being self-employed or having your own business is that you can dictate what you do when you do it. And actually, you know what, if I find that between like 2 p.m. and 5 p.m, 6 p.m, I don't want to do any work. I really can't. Like I really struggle. So I'm really productive in the morning, and then maybe in the evening I might do smart work or do some emails.
Yeah, no, I'm the same actually.
It's being able to, and even when I've worked in jobs, I've always preferred the morning shift. And I try and get the morning shift to then be able to sleep in the afternoon and stuff. So it's having the privilege of being able to work things around for you and figuring it all out. And
because even that comes back to giving yourself the space to, you know, do that journey process of learning how you work best and what your own needs are, and then giving yourself the grace to actually meet those needs and saying, actually, it's okay to give myself that so that I can be fully present to what I'm doing work-wise.
And I guess that's what comes to the peer stuff, is like you learn that from other people. That's where I was trying to go with it. I finally came back around it. But all these things are valid and relevant in a world, if you're going to be a neurodivergent entrepreneur, is like, these are the real lived things.
And there are so many, fears and ways of thinking. Like, is it 24,000 more? Don't quote me on numbers because I'm dyscalculic, but more negative comments for people with ADHD than versus neurotypical peers. And it's like, I think, most of us will have had that experience where, we've been told, don't doodle, or like, don't fidget or whatever. And it's like, that sets up that thought process of, actually, I need to behave
in a certain
the way everyone else is behaving. I need to copy how everyone else is being.
And especially when it's drawn in as a kid, because you don't understand what the way the world is naturally.
And before you're 7, you just accept everything as a sponge, and that isn't questioned unless you consciously come back and question those thought processes yourself.
You also need to take the chances as a neurodivergent entrepreneur, future entrepreneur. You need to take the chance, and you need to take a gamble on yourself. But I tell you, the reward is worth it.
All the way back
you're
round.
absolutely worth it. It's
a lot more satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah. And did you know that 40% of Britain's millionaires are neurodivergent or dyslexic?
Oh,
I did not. There you go.
There you go.
It makes sense. It really makes sense.
My time will come. My time will come.
And I think, statistics are amazing and really educational, but, it just depends on what research has been done. And, we all know ourselves best.
Well, that one is because the brain coping mechanisms that these people have put in, the natural education systems didn't work for them, so they put their own barriers in, and they continued. So they decided.
Entrepreneurs even.
It's unreal. Unreal.
And also as well, like you mentioned the statistics at the end of that, like part of us setting up this network and the podcast is so we can gather some information on what people do need support with, and then we can then feed it back to different councils across Scotland, potentially
100%.
across England. Like,
because the more people engage with the peer support and the virtual office and the community in general, the more information we'll have about what your needs are as our community in the south of Scotland.
And it can be
that's
used as like
our mission. It will be,
as a thing of like, this is what people need. Maybe they can do it up in the Highlands, or maybe they can do it down back in Kent, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's people may not know that listening to the podcast, but like, if you do engage with us, it's more helpful.
If there's something that we are not, giving or not providing or not talking about that you feel that you would be helpful, then do please let us know, because we have the space to
we're here
and the privilege to feed that back.
We're here. What brings us on to our next important. We've asked Amelia if she would tell us Frangipane cake of the podcast.
We didn't. Well, just the one?
I guess one.
Yeah.
You only get it.
Don't
Don't be greedy.
Of the ones that you
Don't
ate
be
today.
greedy.
I could do a top 3. I like it in like like high fidelity. You do like a little top 10 of things. I would say the blondie is probably my favourite. I'd go for a white chocolate and raspberry as the top.
Yeah.
Maybe we didn't have it today, but the cranberry and pecan flapjack is number 2.
Yeah.
Which is especially on a winter's day like today. And then maybe. I said I could do 3, but now I can't. What else do we have today?
I like the sticky fig though.
Sticky fig,
Sticky fig flapjack's my favourite. Tastes like Christmas.
This is why we're always like full of sugar on the part 3. Because we've
post Frangipane.
We've scoffed a load of cake,
100%,
which is gluten free.
We also and amazing.
Yeah.
We also had the dark chocolate and cherry brownie.
I haven't had any of that. There's still some more. Still got half a coffee and
excellent
to have, and some brownie.
Happy days.
Perfect.
Cool.
So on to end it, get in contact. Let us know stuff.
Do please contact. Leave us some more voice notes. This has been fun.
Yeah, and engage. We need to. I'll put it in the show notes of a direct link to the Facebook group.
Yes.
So if you
please
want to
join us in the group,
just click on through. We will then accept people in.
Yeah, and then it's just a chat space as well.
Yeah.
And outside of the Zoom space, we can also be, chatting, introducing ourselves, finding out how we can help each other.
You'll see us in there.
Yes.
Also, thank you to the South of Scotland Enterprises for the amazing
Hoyt Business
building.
Centre,
Aye,
yeah.
the Hoyt Business
And
Centre.
if you are local, come and hot desk upstairs because it is a great.
It is really nice space.
And there's tea and coffee,
Yeah.
and it's very warm.
And
Yeah,
you'll
it's
probably
very
bump
cosy.
into us, no doubt.
Yeah.
Ask us
Yeah,
for a bit.
We're always
me and
I was
Amelia
going to say
live
ask
there
us
now.
for a bit of cake, but we're quite precious over our cake here for the.
Hang on a minute. No, just go direct to the Frangipane Bakery website.
Yeah,
I
do it on
got
there, pick up your
Frangipane
stream.
bakes. Got that. So,
Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. We have been We Speak Tangent.
I'm James.
I'm Kat.
I've been Amelia.
Thanks, guys.
Fantastic.
Till next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Hello and welcome to a surprise part 4
We're back.
of We Speak Tangent, the voice notes edition, because we just received another voice note.
Hot off the press.
So we haven't heard this one yet. So this is exciting. Are we ready?
Yeah, you can play it.
Hi there. I just wanted to say that I've been loving the We Speak Tangent podcast, and I think it's been really striking how different everybody is. And just because you're on the spectrum or because you have ADHD, it doesn't mean that you're going to behave the same way or face the same issues and challenges. And I think you've really reflected that with the first few episodes that you've had. I very much enjoyed it, and I've identified with all 4 that I've listened to so far. So good job, everybody.
That's sweet, isn't it? That's nice to
that's
hear.
awesome.
It is.
That's super cute.
How cool that fits in with what we've been talking about as well.
We are different.
And it kind of rounds it up nicely as well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And yeah, we are different. It's, I think, nice to hear that people have accepted as well as us accepting it's different. That we
Yeah.
are different.
Yeah, it's really nice to hear that comes through.
Because, you know, we always hear how people are putting us in, you know, back to the box. It's like, oh, my son's got ADHD, and then, you know, that's great.
Yeah.
And then they start comparing you and putting you in that bit where, oh, he does this, so you do that. And I'm like, oh, and I don't want to be rude and go,
Not
no,
exactly.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like, it's nice that people feel comfort in that, but we are all different. We're all wired different, but we have the same similar strategies that work. It's nice to hear that people are picking that up on the podcast.
And relating to it as well. I think
Yeah.
that's, it's nice to hear.
I guess like a wee secret mini invisible mission statement is that it is relatable.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be
Relatable
Like
relatable.
you
role
were saying,
models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lived
challenging,
experience, isn't it?
relatable role
Exactly.
models. But yeah, you know, it's that thing of finding your box, but then also realizing that your box is a combination of other people's boxes
Yeah.
that makes your unique self. You know, and I think any box that you find that gives you a sense of identity will help you on your journey, but no one identity is going to be your whole journey, and that's part of the
Yeah.
radical acceptance of it.
I'm
all.
always saying there is no box. Just it's like, because it's just us, I guess. Because it's like for me, it's predominantly been just me. But I guess the box is that the We Speak Tangent is as a whole, as one. To like going forward and having a voice, you know, that voice is the box. Then that we're able to give people our lived experiences, and they're able to relate to them in a manner that is nice for them.
Yeah, and I think that's part of why I'm so passionate about the podcast, because it does give that relatability in a way that is more than, you know, us talking.
Yeah.
Because it's saying, you know, everyone is unique, everyone is different, and everyone who has walked in the door, we have found something that we relate to, and so have they.
Yeah.
But not everything from one person will relate to everyone from another person, and it's that.
And I think now when you get in, like, we're a few podcasts in, like, as neurodivergents as well as entrepreneurs, when you feel that obviously the first episode and then the second and third, we're starting to just adjust in and find where what works for one of the team may not necessarily work for the other members of the
Absolutely.
team. And that's where it is in society, in the world, and everywhere, is that we have to adjust ourselves to other people, but we don't have to mask it. You know,
Yeah.
if you're confident enough to tell people, that's great, that's amazing. Tell them what yours are. Mine's is, I'm always saying to people, I'm autistic and ADHD. And that can either mean one or two things.
You always say it so quickly.
Yeah.
It's always either like, you know, sometimes I need a wee bit of
say
time.
it with hyphens.
Aye,
Yeah.
aye.
Yeah.
500 miles an hour.
See, I just say ADHD because I love it.
Yeah, I think ADHD is a good
a good
word.
term.
But
It
then people
sounds
just think
nice.
that you're into sound engineering or something. They don't know.
Fair.
ADHD.
Yeah.
But
I
the
like
other-
the whole gold aspect of it.
The other version is
Yeah,
that
AU.
we find it and we discover that how other people work in the group and that, and that's nice. That's what I hear when somebody sends a message, that it's nice, and there is a certain uncomfortableness with trying to discomfort, trying to find how other people, how their operating systems work, and that's all right as well, because we are all different. So it's nice to see that it can come to a blend. It's like go back to the mimicking thing. We adapt, we move, we do things at a faster rate than the average human being might add. And some people don't.
Just thinking of Usain Bolt, not him.
That's the ADHD of it all. Sometimes much faster, sometimes much slower.
And that's all right. There's a wee saying that I heard that it does once you adjust into the world, it does work, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly.
Yeah,
but it does always
if you allow something
if you
to take
work for
the
it.
time it takes, it will take less time.
Yep. So thank you very much for your message as well. Sorry, I didn't say
If you
that.
allow something to take the time it takes, it will take less time.
Some people aren't as patient either, so you have to deal with that as well, and that's all right. I guess it's just a big obstacle course of life, and that's what we're going to be. I mean, even looking through.
At we've all got a Nido. You don't have headphones or shoes on.
No.
I've got my loop earplugs in, and we've all chosen to have the lights on because that enhances the visual, but we're all very aware of.
But I normally have green paper whenever I'm behind the camera.
100%.
I have green coloured paper because the lights sometimes are just too much, and when you're looking at, I'm taking notes on white paper. That's just all. So I went on Amazon and got some multicoloured.
Yeah, we're all on the coloured acetates now as well.
Yeah, for reading.
Because that's just because we've come together in a room and shared things that help each other, and found that we also find them useful.
Yeah.
And that, even if that's just the level of connecting, that has been massively beneficial.
And that's not even. We probably should do a whole podcast episode on all these things, because we've had people come in. They're like, "Oh, what's that? What's that?" And we don't.
You present them with the STEM library.
And we just have been like naturally accumulating things
items
like you do, hoarding all these
which
bits
are
and
helpful,
bobs. But they are so helpful, and you go through life and you don't, especially if you're not necessarily like absorbing loads of content that is for neurodivergent people, you're unaware of it. So it could be quite good, maybe even if we do it on social media.
100%. But just having neurodivergent space.
To share these. So it's nice to hear that.
And also for the neurotypicals that are listening as well, sometimes as neurodivergents, we just need a wee bit of space, and we just need that tiny wee bit of time. So do you. But sometimes we do need that. Like, we don't come with signs that say approach with caution. But there's that. We do need that wee bit of time. I hear people all the time, other neurodivergents, like I really had an obsession with that or them, or I had this, and I'm like, that's all right. But if you're getting into things like that, other people in the world need to know that we take a wee bit more time, or we don't take a wee bit more time, but we always have the best interest at heart. I imagine.
And even thinking about the way of conversing, coming back to the we speak tangent of it all, sharing our own experiences as a way to connect, and using tangents, and we've come back to where we're going on all of the tangents in this episode, which shows it quite well. But there are so many times in conversation that will be interrupted, and that is really challenging. And it's just having space to just converse in a way that feels natural is special.
Or feeling that it's absolutely okay to think, oh, hang on a minute, we were having that discussion 5 minutes ago. I forgot to actually end it. I had this point, like kind of going back to it. Oh, hang on, I've thought about it more. I need to just tell you.
Double up on it.
And then the number of times that we will say to each other, "Oh, I didn't listen to the start of that sentence. Just say it again."
Or even then.
Exactly.
Was that? I can't even remember what part that was. But
totally.
Or me, I'm like, send me that text message separate because I can't read all the WhatsApps.
And just having that be acceptable.
Then half that is communication, isn't it? Like I'm absolutely fine with sending you separate texts. I know, like you won't read all the WhatsApp. We have a group WhatsApp. As you can imagine, it always gets hectic. But like, it's communicating. I have this need. Cool.
Yeah, and it's that understanding that we will all have times, like we were talking about downtime earlier. We'll all have times when reading anything or interacting with anything feels too overwhelming, but also we pretty much all of us will also have times and have had times when it's like, I need this and this and this and this because I'm in a like 10-minute doing everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I know exactly what I need. I know exactly where I'm going with this. Boom, there's the information. And having that that's not immediately responded to.
Yeah.
Because if for me, when the phone beeps, I'm instantly in that world. I'm lifting it, and then I'm like, distractions. I guess just have a wee bit of patience with some people, and don't be too hard.
And to have those conversations.
Yeah, and to learn.
We're all in this world together. Come together. Don't worry,
Paul McCartney.
Don't worry, our new single, We Speak Tangent, will be out 2025.
Yeah, we should do a song at some point.
2025 is next year. For a minute, I thought you were picking up a far distant year in the future, but I was like, hang on a minute, no, that's next year.
Yeah, it's not Buck Rogers time anymore. Actually, you're too young for Buck Rogers.
No,
Feeder?
I remember Buck Rogers.
No.
Oh, that's a song by Feeder.
Which references it was kind of like Doctor Who, but less cool.
Oh, I just know the
Buck
Feeder.
Rogers in the 21st century.
Yeah.
It's a really good. Check it out.
We
It's
did
on
a Daffy
YouTube.
Duck one.
It's very very dated. It's hilarious. Yeah, Duck Rogers.
Buck Rogers.
Funny.
Duck Rogers.
But yeah, that's what the Feeder song was referencing.
I'm far too young for that.
You are.
Soz.
It's fine. Check it out.
Be gentle with other people's ages as well. You know, they may be a wee bit slower.
all experience is valid, and learning new references for pop culture is always fun.
That's always good. I'm gonna go Google it. So we need to end again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
End part 4.
And part 4. Yeah,
Thanks
been
for
really
listening.
nice listening to all the voice notes and connecting.
Aye,
with
get
our
your voice
audience.
notes in as well. You know, this has been none of this was planned, none of this was structured, and you know, it's nice to get a wee one at the end there. It's there. It can only work if you guys use them. So please send them in.
Do contact us.
Make them funny as well. I would quite like to hear a wee funny one.
Pressure's on now.
Yeah, let us know what you think
Let us
of
know
this
what you
episode
think.
as well. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, comment as well. If you're listening on Spotify, you can comment.
Yes,
I normally do a
you
little
can.
poll. And on YouTube as well, if you like and subscribe.
Yes,
You can
please
click
do.
the little bell notification so you don't miss out on an episode as well.
You can.
That would
Yeah,
be
we'll message
amazing.
you.
Yeah, we'd love that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We have been We Speak Tangent with the support of Sophie.
I'm James.
I'm Kat.
I'm Amelia.
Bye.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to the We Speak Tangent podcast, brought to you by the Neurodivergent Entrepreneurs Network in partnership with South of Scotland